Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. Okay, so I wanted to start this video off. There's a couple of videos I saw on YouTube, and actually one was a pretty heavy rock ballad from years ago. Actually, I'll get to that. It's about 15 years old, I don't quite remember, but it brought something up that was a realization I had in my, I don't know if I was dreaming or just waking up. So I wanted to say something before that, which actually has to do with this subject. So, okay, so a lot of you guys have found a lot of different people who talk about narcissist abuse, people who've been hurt, people who've been wounded, people who have dealt with it their entire lives. And a lot of you will say that, something different about the way you break things down and explain things. It's clear, it helps me to get over it, and I understand it a lot better. Well, there is another big difference, which is actually just kind of the list at the top here, saying NLP trainer, master hypnotherapist, Ericksonian, etc., timeline therapist. I think the difference, if there's a real key component between what I'm doing and what they're doing, is, yeah, I've lived through narcissist abuse since I was born. I was born into a very, I don't know what the right words are, highly, extremely narcissist family, very abusive. So I understand the pain. I understand what it is. I've been through it my entire life until about 5 years ago when I saw it. I mean, I started seeing pieces when I was probably in my 20s, late 20s, in my early, I'd say when I was 31, I had a real strong realization. Now, I didn't know what narcissist abuse was. No one talked about it back in the 90s. But I realized whenever I meet someone and I feel sorry for them, like that's kind of almost like their approach, like right off the bat, oh, woe is me. Like, I realized every time I started to care about that person, everything got turned on me and it turned into a nightmare. So that became one of my red flags back in the day. So I was learning about it, but I didn't really know what it was that I was learning. There wasn't like a title that I could put it to or a subject. So over the years, from therapist, energy healing classes, courses, books, I was learning a lot. In fact, there's a book called, I have it right there, I'm looking at it, it's called Who's Pulling Your Strings? I bought that book probably 20 years ago. It was a long time ago. And I don't think it even mentions the word narcissist abuse, yet that's exactly what it was talking about. In fact, I'm going to grab it and see if it's on the title anywhere. Okay, so the author's name is Harriet B. Braker, Braker, Ph.D., author of the New York Times bestseller, The Disease to Please. Yeah, that's another book she wrote, so that sounds very much like, yeah, someone who got abused by narcissists. So the title of this book is Who's Pulling Your Strings? How to Break the Cycle of Manipulation and Regain Control of Your Life. Yes, that's absolutely talking about narcissist abuse, and yet there's not a mention of it in here. And when it says how to regain control of your life, that used to be the name of this channel for 3 years, was Take Back Your Power. Okay, so on the inside cover it says many people suffer from relationships that leave them feeling manipulated and out of control. Whether it's within the context of a romantic partner, a family member, a friend, or someone at the workplace, these toxic narcissists, okay, it doesn't say narcissist, but it says toxic relationships can erode your self-confidence and self-esteem and have a strong negative effect on your ability to perform well at home and at work, etc. So it says, Who's Pulling Your Strings provides proven techniques, methods to help you break free from these destructive relationships. So let me read the back. So in big bold at the top says break away from manipulative relationships and regain control. Then there's 2 paragraphs, and just under that in big bold letters it says, are you an easy mark? What are your hooks? 7 key resistant tactics, and much more. So it says millions of people, men as well as women. I'm glad she wrote that, because back in the day it was essentially only women are being manipulated. It's like, no, it's a two-way road here, and I'm glad they're starting to include men, because men were essentially getting abused with zero anyone helping them or even like understanding. I know because I went through it until very recently, the last 4 years or so. As well as men can become involved in relationships with manipulators, people who control through emotions, insults, and mind games. What does that sound like? Sounds like a narcissist. The manipulator seems trustworthy. Sounds like a narcissist, doesn't it? But eventually meaning love bombing first, and then eventually makes life miserable. But whether it's a relative, a parent, a co-worker, a friend, or even a trusted advisor, Dr. Harriet Barker, best-selling author, shows you how to break this toxic cycle. So 2, maybe 3 nights ago, I was laying in bed, and I don't know if I was falling asleep, waking up, or it was in a dream, but I had this realization of how many times in the past I had gone to a therapist or, some kind of, healer, emotional healer, energy healer, coach, something, and how many books I've read, even seminars, whether it was a weekend seminar, a 4-hour seminar, or a 5-week seminar, where they would bring up these exact subjects. Hell, even when I went to college in psychology classes, we spoke about manipulators and manipulative abuse and mind games and all this stuff. And yet not one person, even in this book, even uses the word narcissist. And then this song, I'm going to give you the name of the song. It's a pretty heavy rock ballad. It was a while back. And the title is I Hate Everything About You by 3 Days Grace. I used to listen to that song for years and just cry to it. So here's my point. Is all these therapists, and the sad part about it, it's still going on right now. And yet there is an explosion of information and books being written and people traveling around the country in different parts of the world to talk and teach about narcissist abuse, and yet therapists don't even mention it. You go to churches, it's in the Bible. It's all over. The Bible is pasted all over about narcissist abuse. The problem is they changed the name. Instead of saying serpent in the garden or the seed of Cain, now they're using the word narcissist, and they hid themselves once again. And that's what happened. And so everybody's talking about narcissists, but nobody knows how to help someone because nobody really, like the therapist, well, they've never dealt with narcissist abuse. They had a good life. They went to college, got their degree, and now they're trying to help people on a subject that they don't even know that they don't even know that they don't even know. So it's frustrating because I'm ping-ponging to different videos and listening to church sermons. I do this every week, weekly, daily almost. Not one mention of narcissist abuse, not one mention. So they changed the name to narcissist, and the meaning that, okay, when I grew up, oh, they're just a narcissist. And I'm like, oh, what does that mean? Oh, it means they think their hair is beautiful, they think they're beautiful, and they're kind of narcissistic, meaning arrogant. In other words, they think highly of themselves as in their looks. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, no big deal. So you go through a huge abuse trauma cycle and you throw the word out there, narcissist, because now you know what it means. It's very evil, it's very satanic, and they're just sick, cruel, disgusting people. They literally enjoy hurting and damaging people. Like they get an adrenaline rush off of it. In fact, there's a word. Let me see if I can find that word. Hold on. Yeah, it's called duper's delight. I'm going to read this off to you. All right. So, duper's delight. Here's what it says on Google. It says, what is the duper's delight? The duper's delight is an emotional boost or thrill that some people get when they successfully cheat or deceive or hurt another person or organization. And probably the number one word would be antagonize. They love to antagonize people to get them to be angry, to get them to be emotional, to hurt them. So essentially, they literally get a chemical rush. It's an adrenaline rush, like when you score a touchdown or hit a grand slam or a bonus strike. You do something like that, and when they feel like they can dupe you, that's why it's called duper's delight, trick you into hurting you or getting you to fail or whatever, they get this rush, like victory, like they won. But the funny thing is, like, you don't know you're in this game. You don't know, because usually they act like they're your friend and they're really nice to you and they do, but they will lead you astray. They will be very negative when you see. This is why you don't want to share your goals with some people, because no, you can't. They will literally say to you, oh, you can't do that. Oh, they won't let you do that. Oh, that's not going to happen. And they love it because they themselves are very limited people and they don't have a life, and they probably work a job like as a cashier. Nothing wrong with being a cashier, but they're afraid to go after their actual dreams, and so they gave up a long time ago. And so now here you are trying to strive ahead, and they're doing everything in their power to knock you down. And oh, thank God, it's almost like defensive, football team, the defensive side stopping you from getting a touchdown, or a baseball team stopping you from hitting a home run. Like, oh, thank God we struck that guy out. So these are my number one people that I just think are the worst lowlifes of the planet. And that's what I literally will label them. So once I label someone like that, like, oh, you're one of those people that cut people down, slow people down, trick people, ruin their life. Yep, I'm done with you. Like, you're on the list of I'm done. No more. So this realization I had the other day, and then I saw this song, is even the song by 3 Days Grace, I Hate Everything About You. I'm gonna read some of the lyrics off to you in a second, but there was just this realization that this song is absolutely 100% about narcissist abuse. And even though I went to Wikipedia and I looked up, like, what is the meaning or what is this song about, it says nothing about narcissist abuse. It says nothing about any of that. And yet that's exactly what it's about. It's like, let me read the lyrics off and you'll understand. I want to edit this first because I'm missing a point I forgot to put in here. What I'm trying to say is, this realization was that all these therapists over the years and churches and all of this, it's like the subject was being brought to them, but they didn't know what it was. Nobody was helping nobody. Nobody was getting better. Okay, here's a good way to explain it. In fact, I bet a lot of you have tried to share this with people that you're close friends with and family members, and they just kind of looked at you like, dude, they're just a narcissist. What's the big deal? So they're into their haircut, so they're into their makeup. Big deal. I mean, like, why are you so worked up about this? Well, because they tried to poison me. They tried to overdose me. They tried to run me over with a car. They did this. They did that. They got me fired. They turned people against me. Blah, 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 blah. They played all these mind... But they're not aware of any of that stuff. And yet, we talk about this in music, in songs, in therapy, in church, and, oh, let's praise the Lord. It's like the surface level, over the top. Nobody wants to go deep. Nobody wants to be like, wait, what's going on here? Everybody's talking about it. It's in movies, it's in music, it's in books, it's in therapy, it's in psychology classes. But nobody knows what it is. It's frustrating. So you go to therapy for 10 years and you never get healed because they don't know what's really going on. You don't know what's going on. And no one knows how to heal from it. But now we do. You can heal. But not from people who don't understand healing. I mean, actual emotional, energetic healing. A lot of these people that talk, and some of them, they have hundreds of thousands of followers. They're stuck in their ego. They couldn't heal you in a million years. They're very informative. You learn a lot, but you don't heal. Okay, back to the lyrics and where I was at. So, okay, I'm going to start somewhere, probably the main chorus. I hate everything about you. Why do I love you? I hate everything about you. Why do I love you? And then it says, and then it repeats the chorus a little bit down, what I just read. And then it says, I hate everything about you. Why do I love you? You hate everything about me. Why do you love me? Okay, then it says, let me get to, okay, I hate you. Hate, I hate. You love me. I hate everything about you. Why do I love you? So this is something else we go through. I hate you. And then we hate that we hate. Because it's like not normal. We're not used to being so full of hurt and hate and anger towards someone, because we just, like, our natural way of being is just being loving and kind and just wanting to make everything better. So I made a video a while back about, it's okay to be angry, especially after you wake up to what narcissist abuse is, because it is a huge realization that you go decades back. Oh my God, my family, my brothers, my sisters, my neighbor, my boss, this person, that person, my first girlfriend, my second girlfriend. Oh my God. And when you start to see it, it really enrages you. So all I'm saying is the realization of how many therapists know nothing about narcissist abuse, and yet people are going to them, even not even knowing about the word or phrase narcissist abuse, and these therapists are not helping these people. They don't know. The churches are not helping people because it's like there's no connection. It's like when I was a kid listening to the Bible, I read the Bible over and over and over, and I went to Bible study after Bible study after Bible study. I went to church every Sunday. I read that Bible every day. I'd even ask questions. And it was like ancient history. It was like, it's something that happened in the past. It's not happening now. Oh God, nobody made any connections going, well, actually, they're called narcissists now. And here's what a narcissist, love bombing cycle, the devaluing phase, and then breaking it all down, the hoovering, all that stuff, the discard. Like, when you see this, you look back at the Bible like, oh, there's an absolute clear 100% connection. And that's the only thing that's going to get you out of it. In fact, when you go through it, it hurts like hell. But you finally opened the doors and you stepped out. And leaving it was a very painful thing because you didn't know that you didn't know, and the realization of it is what hurts you the most. Have you guys ever heard the stories where, like, a captive will, like, the doors are open, you can leave at any time, but they don't because they're so used to being locked in that they're afraid of the outside world? That's what a lot of you guys are going through. It's like, hey man, you could leave the torture chamber, you can leave the prison of hell at any moment. One of the stories they talked about was how they would tie an elephant up from basically almost birth. They would chain its leg to like a tree or a metal post or whatever with a chain. And as it got bigger, they would put a bigger chain on it, a bigger one. And after a couple years, it didn't even try to leave. It knew exactly how far it could walk away from the tree or whatever it was chained up to. And it wouldn't even try to go any farther. It realized, like, I can't, like, this is my limits. But then one day, they take the chain off the tree. And it still doesn't try to get away. Or another way the story's told is, like, then what they do is they replace it with a rope. And they tie the rope around the elephant's leg, and they don't even tie it to the tree. And the elephant never tries to leave, like, ever. It's an illusion. Even if the rope was tied up, it could easily snap that rope. That would be like a little piece of string where you could just pull your hand or your leg. It would snap. But it doesn't. It's like it's been conditioned. It's became a belief, and that belief is an illusion. And then there's the story. All of these were taught to us during the NLP trainings back in the early 80s, or not early, late 80s and 90s. And this one is where you have like all the crabs at the bottom of like the river, or just outside of the mouth of the river, like on the edge of the ocean. But so they're down kind of in this crevice, and they're clinging to the rocks. They're holding onto the rocks. And they never let go. Because it's all they know. They don't know what's beyond. And then one of them just does it. They just let go. And all of them go, oh, look, he can fly. And then he flies away. Well, he's actually just swimming through the water. And the one that I created for my male clients, back in the days when I was teaching my communication course, male to female communication to men, on how to open up to the right brain, is the only difference between you and me or other people is you have your foot on the brake. And to the male ego, your forehead gets really tight and feels powerful and strong because you're holding onto the steering wheel, you're pushing on the brake, and it causes, even though it feels powerful, it's very frustrating because you're not going anywhere. So what I would say, and you have to be really, really gentle with men, because it's like they got the foot on the brake and they're pushing down, they're pulling on the steering wheel. It feels powerful, and to them it makes them like I'm a badass and look at me. And I'm saying, hey, you got to let off the brake though if you want to go somewhere, if you want to meet the girl, if you want to make more money, if you want to achieve your goals. And a lot of people are like, on the one hand, like, dude, that scares the, like, let go. What are you talking about? I've got to be in control. And yet they're not in control. They're not going anywhere. Sure, they're revving the engine at the same time with their other foot, or possibly even like have it in gear and they're burning out the tires, but the front brakes are locked and they're just burning up the engine. They're not going anywhere. But to people who have been in control and felt this power by holding on, by clinging onto the rocks, it feels powerful, I feel strong, and this is going to get me where I want to go. And yet, you haven't gone anywhere. There's actually a video I made with Abenev on my channel where I said, you don't have to go fast, just, maybe 2 miles an hour, just let off the brake and gently push on the gas pedal. Because to people who have never truly let go, this is a scary experience for them. So here I am working with adult grown men and just saying, look, you don't have to go fast. You don't have to do this. Let's just go around the block one time, and then park it. That's it. And if you can't make it, pull over, get out of the car, and I'll get in and I'll take it home. They're like, okay. See, once you learn how to let go of the brake and you start to move, you start to learn. And the learning curve is pretty fast, actually, because at first you're scared, and then like, oh, well, that wasn't bad. And, oh, there's a stop sign. Stop at the stop sign. Look left, look right. Oh, okay, that's easy. And you start to realize it's actually easy to drive a car around. So after a couple days, a week, a month, you're on the freeway going 55 miles, maybe 60 miles an hour, and you're like, well, what was I so damn afraid of? And now maybe you're going to acting classes, or you're going back to college, or you started a business where you're delivering stuff. It's your own business. You're making more money than you've ever made. And you're like, wow, what was I waiting for? You're free. You always have been. Just walk out the door. And go. So the difference between me and other channels is I trained and trained. I still do. I'm still reading books on NLP, psychology, etc. I mean, right now I've got a stack of books on my table, and I've got some audio that I'm listening to, trainings and seminars, etc. I actually know how to help people walk out of the cage and take back their power and take charge of their life, where they actually go somewhere. So instead of just telling you about narcissist abuse and, well, here's the stages: love bombing, the devaluing, the discard, the hoover, and here's what they do in the love bombing phase and the devaluing phase, here's the tactics, the gaslighting, the this, the that, and just telling you about what a narcissist is and look out for the signs. Well, that doesn't help you to heal emotionally. I think on some level, though, it helps you to see what's going on, which is a very good thing. And a lot of you do know the signs. You really do. I would say almost all of you on this channel are highly aware of all the signs, of all the triggers, of all the things they do, to the point where you can go teach your own damn seminars. You could even talk about the damages that it does and how, like, you could probably recognize other people after talking to them for probably half an hour, maybe even just watching them in line at a store and go, oh yeah, that person has been beaten down. They probably suffer from narcissist abuse. I mean, you're that highly attuned to this. Like, you're very aware of what's going on and how it affects people. And some of you are getting really good at spotting narcissists within a couple meetings or a couple days or a couple weeks. Like, oh, that's narcissist. Got to get out of here. So it's not like you don't know, and yet you still hurt inside. Something's holding you back. You feel like you're lost. See, if just knowing about narcissistic abuse was enough to heal you, well, you wouldn't be watching my channel. You'd be out there making $1 million, going to acting class, trying to get a movie contract and, whatever. You would be out there living your life. If you're not, it's because you were damaged and something or a few things inside need to be healed. And that's where I come in. I'm not just some guy that learned about narcissist abuse. I'm some guy that goes, oh, this is awesome because I heal people of emotional wounds. I've been doing it for decades, even decades before I actually knew what narcissist abuse was, even though I'd gone through it my whole life. And then there's some of you, those of you, I know because I was here for a couple of years, you just felt like that's it. I'm done. Life essentially is over. I'm just going to, eat food and go to bed and wake up and until I die. What I'm trying to say is, beyond a shadow of a doubt, you absolutely, not only can you heal from it, you will become empowered from it. You ascend from this. You become a much more powerful version of who you actually are. Suddenly you have confidence. Suddenly you speak up for yourself. Suddenly you start taking action. And if you're not, well, you're just stuck. And that's just a perspective shift. It's like the elephant with that little rope wrapped around its leg that it could just rip off. It's not even tied to the tree. Or the animal that was raised in captivity its entire life or since it got injured. They bring it back out to the wild in this little cage thing, and they open the door and they're like, no, I'm not going out there. And they kind of peek out. Screw that shit. I'm not going out. Oh, hell no. You're free to go. So maybe you need some help with someone who actually understands what narcissist abuse is about and how to actually neurologically help you shift out of this and help you to work with your energy to heal it. A lot of you have lived with pain your entire lives, and you just think, well, this is just the way it is. It's, the emotional pain, that thing in my gut, that heaviness, that tightness, that anxiety, that pang in my... Some of you are, I know because I was one of these people. Some of you are so used to living with that fear in your chest, in your heart, in your gut, in your solar plexus. You're just thinking, well, this is just the way life is. I'm telling you, I did for the longest time until I came out of anxiety one day. I was like, oh, this feels great. And I remember talking to someone like, well, isn't that how you normally feel? I'm like, no, this is the first time. They're like, what? Here's what I'm saying. You can heal your emotional wounds for sure. You do not have to carry them like heavy weights that you're dragging behind you. You can learn to heal them and let them go one by one. And you literally start to become lighter. You become more joyful. You become more happier. You just become more active. And it's not even like it's like you're like the guy with the brake on and the gas pedal on. They're fighting themselves. They got the gas pedal to the metal. They got the brakes all the way down. And they're just burning up this engine. And that's essentially what you do inside when you don't heal your emotional wounds. Because a part of you is like, I want to go forward. I want to go after my dreams. Or I want a relationship or whatever it is. I want to make money. But then there's another part that's like, screw that shit. And it's holding on. It's holding on. So like literally it's two engines pulling you apart, going in two different directions. One of the, I would say the most beautiful things that I had heard in NLP was that exact term. Like you've got two engines, one wants to go forward, the other one's like saying screw that, and it's either holding on or it's pulling in the other direction, and it's pulling you apart. And they said essentially what we're going to do is we're going to get your both engines facing in the same direction, side by side, connected to each other, going in the same direction. So all of a sudden, instead of all this power fighting itself, all this power starts to move you and pull you in a direction where it feels effortless, because there's no conflict, there's no breaks, there's no resistance. Haven't you ever seen those people where everything just seems to be effortless, like they just move forward in life? Have you heard the word enlighten? That literally means to lighten up. So the more you heal, the more you let go of the weights, the lighter you become emotionally, spiritually, energetically. You just seem to flow through life, and people around you, they don't understand. Like, and they get mad. Oh, that's not fair. They're not. Fighting myself? You're right. I stopped doing that a long time ago. Oh, I used to. Oh yeah, that was, and I remember, back in high school, my friend's mom, I went for this run. My friend convinced me to join the football team, and I was all fired up. He goes, come on, Mike. He was on his BMX bike, and we ran. He had me run. He was on the bike. And I ran, like, I think it was probably 2.5, 3 miles. Yeah, it was pretty far. And I didn't jog. I didn't jog fast. I ran. It was almost a full-on sprint the entire way. He said, come on, Mike, come on, don't stop. And I was drenched in sweat. And when I got back to his front yard, he turned on the hose, and I'm drinking out of the hose. And I'm telling you, I was drenched in sweat. And his mom walks out the door, and she goes, why do you push yourself so hard? I was always fighting myself because I thought it was the right thing to do. I thought that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have a hard life. You're supposed to struggle. And let me tell you, that is not true at all. Alright, let's take a very rough sport, boxing. Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest fighters ever, he literally said, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. And the way he talked was so smooth and effortless and smooth and light. And even he would do this dance in the ring, like he'd make his feet, I can't remember what you call that, but make your feet go back and forth right in the middle of a match. And people were just in awe. He would just move left, move right, and flick his jab out. He was effortless. And he was one of the greatest because of it. For the most part, he would do circles around some of the greatest fighters in the world ever. There were a couple wrestling matches and a couple boxing matches and kickboxing matches where I just was, it's like I had the brakes on and I could feel it, and I was like, I just gotta let loose, excuse my language, I'm gonna cuss, but in my head I'm like, fuck it. And I just loosened up my guard, loosened up my legs, and I just started flicking my jab, throwing that kick. And I just started kicking this. I remember I came back because after the first round I was losing bad. And when I came back after the second round, because my coach was yelling at me, God damn it, and I said, fuck it, I don't care if he yells at me, I'm going to fight my way, because otherwise I'm going to lose. And when I came back after the second round, he goes, where'd you learn how to do that? And I'm like, I don't know, coach. I just got to let go. I don't care. I know you want me to fight this other, but I can't win that way. I'm going to lose. He goes, keep doing what you're doing. And I ended up winning the match by far. I think I knocked, if I remember right in that match, I knocked that guy out in the third round. One of the biggest things that I do with you is I show you how. I walk you through a series of techniques and steps. It's not just in one day. We're going to do this for a while, to get you to open up and expand your awareness. And from there, you can easily shift your perspective. The reason why you're stuck is because you're stuck on a single perspective and you can't move. When we can get you to energetically and emotionally expand your awareness and shift to different multiple perspectives and get you moving, free-flowing all the way around, all of a sudden you start, the answers come, because the answers are already there. You just opened up to see them and to receive them. That's what I do. Hey, this is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. Please, if you like this video, click subscribe, click the like button, and go ahead and make a comment. And if you'd like to make a donation, there's a PayPal link right there in the description box. God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.